The Ultimate French Avenue Buying Guide, Part 1. Hey guys, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman, and it's time for your dose of some fragrance content. It's also time for another buying guide. This time around I'm going to cover the brand of French Avenue. French Avenue have really exploded when it comes to their popularity in the past couple of years, but also when it comes to the sheer number of fragrances that they have released in the past 2 years or so. And since they have so many products in their portfolio, today and in my follow-up video, which will go live in a couple of days time, I'm going to try to make it easier for you to navigate through their huge selection of fragrances. Now, since they have a lot of things to sell and to offer, I'm going to split the video in two parts. In this first part, I'm going to cover some of the older stuff that they have released in previous years, and then in the follow-up part 2 I'm going to talk about their new scents that were released in 2025. Let's start with a few fragrances that were released early last year and really helped grow the popularity of French Avenue around the world. The first two that I'm about to show you are the two original members of the Raw Blend line, and they're called simply Raw Blend and Raw Blend Nero. Now, Raw Blend smells very similar to Kilian's Angel Share, that very famous scent from the brand of Kilian's. It's sweet, slightly spicy, boozy scent that's very likable and very easy to wear, perfectly unisex and all that stuff. People really like the original scent, and this is probably the best Middle Eastern cologne that even to this day you can get. At one point in time we got a lot of clones of Angel Share, and to this day Raw Blend remains my most favorite one, and I keep recommending this one for people who are looking of a clone of Angel Share. The next one, Raw Blend Nero. This in a way smells similar to the original Raw Blend because the original fragrances that both these two were inspired by also smell pretty similar to each other, but the inspiration here is called Sava, and it comes from the brand of Giza. So this in a way is similar, but this is sweeter. It's a little bit more spicy, a little bit more oriental, and lacks the booziness of the original Raw Blend. Other than that, this smells pretty similar to the other one. This though is a fragrance that is very strong. In fact, I included this one earlier this week in a video that's called All Day Performance and Then Some, and this is one of those scents that will offer such strong monstrous, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, performance. This lasts for a very long time, projects really nicely, and especially if you spray this one on clothes, this is will last probably until the next time you wash the clothes. You can think of this one as Latafa Hamra on major steroids. The next two are again part of the same line, and they're called Spectre Ghost and Spectre Wraith. Now, these two also got quite a bit of attention, quite a bit of hype when they were released. Spectre Wraith is inspired by, again, another Kilian fragrance. This time around it's called Black Phantom. This is dark, it's spicy, again it's a bit boozy. This one has a chocolate note, but it feels like dark chocolate, so it's not overly sweet. This is one of those I would call slightly challenging fragrances, but this is definitely a great alternative of a Black Phantom if you're looking for such a thing. Very nice quality and great performance. The other one, Spectre Ghost, this one of course is inspired by Nishane Ani. It's probably my most favorite vanilla-based fragrance, the original one from Nishane, and Spectre Ghost is a great clone of that one. One of the very best that I've come across in my fragrance journey. So it's basically all about the vanillic sweetness with a hint of spiciness and some citruses up top, which help brighten up the opening a little bit, and then basically on the dry down it's all about the vanilla. If you like vanilla based scents, then Spectre Ghost is a no-brainer in my opinion. Another thing that sets these two bottles apart from pretty much anything else out there is the bottle design. They really look cool. Initially when I first saw photos, pictures of those two on the web, I thought that the bottle design is tacky and a little bit over the top, but then when I got them in my hands, they, in my opinion, they really look cool. So that's another great thing about those two. Now I'm going to go over a few scents that were never really that popular from French Avenue, although they offer very nice quality. They used to be quite expensive, and all four that I'm going to show you next come really lavishly and sort of luxuriously packaged. The first two look pretty similar to each other. They're called Muse and Inesh. Now, one of them is a feminine scent, this one with the white cap. This is one of the two feminine scents that I'm going to cover in today's video. This one is inspired by Parfum de Marly's Valaya, and this is has a bit of a freshness up top. It has quite a bit of white florals. Then the more it dries down, the more vanillic and musky and slightly woody it becomes. It's a very nice scent that initially opens up very bright, surprisingly bright, and then again the more it dries down, the more you'll start to feel those white florals that this fragrance has, and the sweetness, the vanillic sweetness with a hint of muskiness on the dry down. Very feminine, very delicate and very sophisticated scent, in my opinion, that smells very nice. The next one, that's called Inesh. This one is a lot more masculine. This one is inspired by Halfeti Cedar and from Penhaligon's, and this is for those of you who like woody based fragrances that feel a little bit dry, that have some spiciness, that have a subtle amount of booziness, and then some sweetness on the dry down. It's not overly spicy, it's not overly boozy or overly sweet. For me, this is one of those fragrances that have a lot of woodiness. The cedar oud note in this fragrance is quite nice, of high quality and all that. So if you like those type of scents, this is a very nice offering. Both of them offer very nice quality when it comes to the actual scent, and again, as I said, the presentation on both of them is top notch. The other two sort of less known ones that I'm going to include in today's video, again, look pretty similar to each other bottle wise. They're called Elisium and Elisian Onyx. Now, Elisian is a fragrance that's heavily inspired by Initio's Narcotic Delight. For me, this has always smelled like a slightly boozy, fizzy type of scent, you know, something that smells like a fizzy drink with a bit of booziness. This one has a bit of an agar oud note in it, has a bit of incense as well, has a bit of florals, quite a bit of sweetness. This is very long lasting, and especially the opening is sort of on a very thick and projects very nicely. So if you're looking for a clone of a Narcotic Delight, then Elisian is the one to get from French Avenue, at least. The other one, Elisian Onyx, this one smells a lot like Memo's African leather. And probably this is the highest quality clone of African leather that I've tried out of the Middle East. So this is leathery, as the name of the original fragrance would suggest. This is very spicy. There's a strong cumin note with this fragrance, just like you'll find in the original one, with quite a bit of woodiness, but there's also a nice amount of sweetness. I've always found Elisian Onyx to be like a slightly sweeter take on Memo's African leather scent, but smells pretty similar to the original fragrance. Again, we're talking about a very nice quality and very strong performance in both cases. Both these two project very strongly. Again, they come really nicely packaged and all that stuff. So if you're looking for a Narcotic Delight clone or a African leather clone, these are the two options that you get out of a French Avenue. Let's keep on with the look-alike bottles. The next two again look pretty similar to each other. They're called Sultry Ouds and Tropical Kiss, but the orange one is a more feminine scent, the green one is more masculine. Tropical Kiss is a sort of a clone of Soleil de Jeddah from Soleil de Jeddah Mango Kiss, I think was the full name of the original fragrance, from Stephanie Humbert Lucas. Basically, this is all about the mix of some white florals, a strong mango note, a bit of a coconut, and lots of vanilla on the dry down. Smells nice, summery, tropical in a way, just like the name would suggest, and it's a nice fragrance as long as you enjoy the note of mango and white florals. I personally am not a huge fan of this one, but my wife actually kinda likes it a lot. The next one, the green bottle, Sultry Ouds, this one is inspired by Nishane Shem. And this is pretty different to this other one. Apart from the fact that this is a masculine fragrance, this is like the total opposite of the orange one. This is dark, this is leathery, It's green, it's balsamic, you know, has a lot of darkness. It's a very masculine and I would say quite challenging scent that actually smells very similar to the original fragrance from Nishane. Offers very nice quality and super strong performance. You know, Tropical Kiss is more on the moderate side when it comes to performance. Sultry Ouds is actually pretty beast. Again, more look-alike bottles. This time around though, we're not talking about a feminine and masculine scents, we're talking about two masculine scents. They're called Igua and Igua by Night. Igua is the one that is a lot more famous out of this pair. This is a clone of YSL Tuxedo, and this is probably the highest quality Middle Eastern clone of Tuxedo that you can get. Just like the original one, you'll get this mix of spices, patchouli, vanillic sweetness, some white florals, and maybe even a hint of something like a boozy note. Very, very nice, very gentleman-y, smells a little bit barbershoppy, smells a little bit old school in my opinion, but it's a great scent as long as you enjoy the original one or this combination sounds interesting to you. So if you're looking for a clone of Tuxedo, this is French Avenue's option for you. The other one, Igua by Night, is by far the lesser known fragrance out of those two, out of this couple. This one smells a lot like Carolina Herrera's Mystery Tobacco. In a way, it may remind you of Parfum de Marly's Herod as well. So basically, you're getting a sweet tobacco-based fragrance with quite a bit of spices and some woodiness, some warmth in it as well. I personally am a huge fan of the tobacco note, you know, and the fragrances that rely on a lot of tobacco in them. So Igua by Night was a very nice surprise for me personally. Again, for some reason this one got a lot less attention than Igua got, but I think Igua by Night on its own is a very, very nice scent. The next one is called Sultan the Founder. This one smells a lot like Imperial Valley from Giza, and this is quite a unique and surprisingly for me a challenging scent profile for a lot of people. This relies on an interesting sort of a mix between a leather note, an agar oud note, some ambery sweetness, and some fruity and citrusy freshness in the opening. For some reason, a lot of people find this scent profile to be very challenging. I personally enjoy it a lot, to be honest, and you know, I find it to be very, very versatile. Although it has some of those darker notes like the leather note, like the agar oud note, I still find this to be very, very wearable in warm weather because of the fruitiness and the freshness that it has up top, and because of the nice amount of sweetness that it has. For me personally, this is a very versatile scent profile, but for some reason, as I said, people find this one to be more on the challenging side. The other one is called Mirage Absolu. Looks like this, and this is a very, very nice take at Parfum de Marly's Layton exclusive, but it's not so close to Layton exclusive. I personally have always found this one to be like a perfect split between Layton and Layton exclusive. It lacks a bit of that spiciness of Layton exclusive, lacks a bit of the darkness and the warmth of Layton exclusive, feels a little bit lighter, and in that way it reminds me a lot of the original Layton. But if you're looking for a Layton or Layton exclusive clone from French Avenue, this is the one to get, Mirage Absolu. The quality is very, very good with this one, and the performance is also good. The next one is called Divin Asylum. Looks like this, and this one is heavily inspired by Roja's Elisium per Homme and Elisian per Homme Parfum. Some people find it smelling close to the Parfum version, others to the EDP version, but this is, no matter the case, this is a nice, slightly mature feeling, fresh and very versatile scent that actually feels quite complex because it has a lot of things going on. It has a citrusy freshness up top, it has some of the fruity sweetness that you'll find in the original fragrance, you'll find some of the greenness of the original one, a hint of leather and all that, maybe a bit of vanillic sweetness, some florals. It's a nice, very nice, slightly complex, fresh feeling scent in my opinion. I really like the way that this one smells. The quality is very good with this one. It's, as I said, it's very, very versatile, very masculine. The only problem personally that I find with Divin Asylum is the fact that performance wise it's nothing special. It's about average or maybe slightly above average, but other than that it's a very likable scent that's very easy to wear. The next one is called Lumier Garçon. Looks like this. This one is a clone of Dolce & Gabbana, the one Luminous Night. And again, just like with a few that I've already showed you, this is the best Middle Eastern take at Luminous Night that I've personally tried. Now, Fragrance World have another clone that is sold under the Atour Al Alam sub-brand. That one I feel of very low quality, and on the other hand, Lumier Garçon feels of a very high quality. This is nice, it's sweet, it's sexy, has a bit of an oriental vibe to it because it has a dates note, it has some smokiness, a hint of basil, so you get a bit of greenness in it as well, some additional sweetness. It's a very nice masculine and sexy scent. Great for a slightly cold weather, great for a night out, great for a date night. Very nice quality and good performance as well. The next one again feels fresh, feels very versatile, and feels a bit on the mature side. It's called Essence de Blanc, and this one is heavily inspired by Louis Vuitton's Imagination, while at the same time it's not a direct clone of Imagination, it's done in a similar style. It has that sort of an tea note that you'll find in the original fragrance. It has the freshness of the citruses and whatnot. It has a bit of the ginger note that you'll find in the original one. It has some muskiness on the dry down, a hint of sweetness. It's a very nice, very easy to wear fragrance that I personally find to be a masculine scent, but that some girls can easily pull this one off as long as they like this type of scents. Quality is good, the performance is, I would say, okay. The next one is again very opposite scent wise to this one. This is a lot darker, a lot sweeter, and basically a lot more masculine in my opinion. It's called French Avenue's After Effect. This one is inspired by Initio's Side Effect, and it's one of the very best clones of a Side Effect that you can get. It's boozy, it's spicy, it's sweet, it's dark, has some tobacco in it. Overall, this feels like a very dark scent, while at the same time carries a bit of sophistication. This one feels a little bit more spicy than the original one, but overall the quality is very good with this, and also the performance, at least on my bottle that I got like over a year ago, is pretty beastly, as long as you sort of adjust the number of sprays, because personally my bottle has a pretty weak atomizer, so initially I was wondering why the performance is not as good as I expected it to be, but then I realized that I just have to put a few more sprays because the sprayer is more on the weaker side. But if you're looking for a side effect clone, French Avenue's After Effect is one of the very best that you can get. I'm going to finish off this first part of the French Avenue buying guide with another two look-alike bottles. These two are called Liquid Brun and Azure Oud or Azure Oud. The blue one, Azure Oud or Azure Oud, is heavily inspired by Maison Crivelli's Oud Maracuja, and in my opinion, personally for me, this is the best thing out of the Middle East that you can get scent-wise close to Oud Maracuja. So it's leathery, it's fruity, it's maybe feels a little bit boozy. There's an agar oud note in here. There's quite a bit of rose as well. Very strong, very potent scent that lasts for a very long time, projects really nicely, and in my opinion again smells very similar to the original fragrance from Maison Crivelli. I personally like this one a lot. The other one, Liquid Brun, of course, is one of the most famous scents in the portfolio of French Avenue. This one is inspired by none other than Parfum de Marly's Altair. So it's heavy on the white florals, on the cinnamon, and on the vanillic sweetness, with a few additional notes here and there, the ambroxan of course and all that. May smell a little bit more on the basic side, but it's a very likable scent that's universally liked, that will get you compliments, and this still to this day remains probably the very best option if you're looking for an Altair clone. Performance is great, even better than the original one from Parfums de Marly, and nowadays you know, the prices have settled, so it could be found for a lot cheaper than it used to cost before, and it's a great fragrance for the cold weather. So this was quite a bit of stuff to cover up in this part 1 of my French Avenue buying guide, the ultimate French Avenue buying guide. The not so good thing is that part 2 will also include probably at least 15 or 16 fragrances. I hope that you found today's video interesting, guys. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video for your dose of some fragrance content. Also, look for the part 2 of this one, which will probably go live in the next few days. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.